monument and the memorial site at that crash scene continues to grow as the community plans a rally about 1 hour from now. Well, good evening. I'm Chris Mann.
I'm Jessica Dean. Sources tell Eyewitness News suspect Cornelius Crawford has confessed, and questions are being raised about why he was out on the street in the first place. Eyewitness News reporter Steve Patterson is live in North Philadelphia at that crash scene. Steve.
Well, Chris, Jessica, this morning I had a conversation with a member of the state parole board who explained to me that Cornelius Crawford was paroled, violated that parole, and then re-paroled and back on the street. And in between that, never went back to prison for that violation. Now many are questioning how he could even be in a position to cause the unthinkable and what's just over my right shoulder. At 23 years old, Cornelius Crawford has made a career out of violent crime. Court records from 2007 show Crawford, then 16, went on a 10-day robbery spree before getting arrested, sentenced 6 to 15 years. In prison, a slew of misconduct violations before being paroled in April of last year, just days after serving a minimum sentence.
He was at a high risk for violent reoffending.
And back on the street, behavior does not improve. Records obtained by CBS 3 showing Crawford violating his parole before being caught and sent to a violation center. Finally, in February, he's re-paroled back on the street, with many asking how.
The difficulty here is there's so many more influences at work than simply the protection of society. It all comes down to dollars and cents.
Longtime criminal attorney George Perry says the prison system is overcrowded, and the hard fact is a parolee costs a fraction of a prisoner. He says it plagues the inner city.
We've got a huge problem here in Philadelphia.
A 2013 statewide parole report found over a 2-year period, more than 10,000 Philadelphia inmates were released from prison. Worse, the city has had an over 60% rearrest rate for nearly a decade.
They needed the bed in the prison, and they put them back in the community, and unfortunately this was an entirely predictable result.
So a few things are happening in our 6 o'clock hour. One, a vigil and rally that is just starting to get underway for the family of the victims. And secondly, we'll talk more about this topic. What is the solution? Is it building more prisons, or is it community programs after the inmates get out? We'll talk more about that at 6 o'clock. Reporting live from the Tioga section of North Philadelphia, I'm Steve Patterson, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
Steve, thank you. And stay with Eyewitness News for continuing coverage of this deadly carjacking. You can get the latest anytime at cbsphilly.com.